Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Daily Magic. My name is SlytherinKnight, and I'm so happy you could join me. Today's new daily is just to cast 20 black or green spells, nice and easy. And we do actually have an option for this, a Golgari Poison deck that comes courtesy of J-Villain MTG. This one caught my attention, very interesting. You know me, I prefer decks that are a bit more, aggro, aggressive, and this one kind of fits that mold. So, just to talk about it real quick, the two main cards in here are Fynn the Fangbearer, which whenever a creature you control with Death Touch deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. Fantastic. The other is Virulent Silencer. Whenever a non-token artifact creature you control deals combat damage to a player, that player gets 2 poison counters. So you get the idea. The main combo for this is having both of these guys on the field and then having Hullcarver hit the opponent for damage, because that's going to do 4 poison counters if both of these are on the field. So you kind of see what we're getting at. It also works for something like Gingerbrute. Gingerbrute will do 2 as long as Virulent is on the field. Cecil will do 2 because of Fynn. What else? Dragon Sniper will do 2 because of Fynn. So you get the idea. Having a lot of low-cost creatures that we can fill the board with, and having, as long as we have Fynn and Virulent Silencer on the field, that can be devastating. Now, naturally you want to have ways for your creatures to actually hit, because if your opponent's going to block them, none of these guys really have trample. That's where Synchronized Charge comes in, where, the main thing, the most important thing that we want here is that the creatures you apply this to get trample. That's the main thing. The other is Biosynthic Burst. This is mainly, it gives reach, trample, and indestructible until end of turn. You untap that creature. So you kind of get the idea. We have 2 different ways of giving our creatures trample, and everything else is some form of removal. With Bitter Triumph, Embrace Oblivion, Toxin Analysis actually is another way to give things Death Touch, and also creates a token for us to use, an artifact token for us to use Oblivion, Embrace Oblivion on. And then Tragic Trajectory really is very low cost removal. That's why we only have 2 copies of it, because it only applies a -2/-2. So, it's a sorcery, so you can't use it in combat or anything like that. So yeah, just kind of base level removal. What would we use Toxin Analysis on? Probably Gingerbrute, especially because Gingerbrute does have the ability to where if the opponent doesn't have any hasted creatures, if you pay 1, they can't block this. So apply Toxin Analysis with Fynn and Virulent Silencer on the field. That's 4 poison counters. You kind of get the idea. I don't know how this is going to work, because the deck does heavily rely on having 2 cards on the field that can be relatively easy to remove. So we'll see how it goes. I would definitely say this deck could use some ways of protecting your cards more than just that 1 card, but we'll see how it goes. It doesn't really matter at the moment. We'll probably do Gingerbrute, go for damage there. Or we can do Dragon Sniper. I need a 3rd land before I can get Silencer on the field, so yeah, let's do that. That actually is rather helpful. I was hoping for another land, but it is what it is. That's fine. They want to get rid of Cecil. That's fine. What did they drop? Herald of Eternal Dawn. It's fine. Thank you. Llanowar Elf. Doesn't matter. If you don't get another creature on the field, you're dead. Yeah, because that ability applies to itself. That's an artifact, that's an artifact, that's an artifact. And that's 10 poison counters, that's victory. What was that? Wait, what was that? Hold on one second. I saw that achievement, I don't know what that is an advanced achievement. Oh, I haven't done this since, wow, I didn't realize that. I haven't done a poison build, a poison deck, since the achievement system came out. Oh, well, cool. We'll take that. Very cool. And of course, the image they use is Rot Priest, naturally. All right, well, that's pretty cool. But yeah, you see what this deck is capable of already. Kind of a. But again, it does have the weakness if you're able to get rid of the two most prominent cards, Fynn and Silencer, the deck kind of falls apart. So that is one thing I don't like about it. I don't like being heavily reliant on a single. I am keeping this just because we do have some options. Two brutes, okay. Yeah, that can't block anyway, but yeah, go ahead. You can burn the brute, that's fine. Okay. They really want me to have these Gingerbrutes out, don't they? Sure. Because the thing is, if I can get Silencer on the field next turn, that's potentially 6 points. Smart. That's fine. Still get 2. You still get 4, I should say. No, I'll take that hit. I don't trust it. Fine. Yeah. Alright, so what do we do? I'm gonna go Dragon Sniper. Because I do want something to potentially kill their Nemesis with, if at all possible. Again, they just... Yeah, at this point, this just doesn't matter, so... Yeah, we're kind of at that point where it's like, yeah, they had enough creatures to where it just didn't matter. I could do that. Kill one of their... we're kind of, again, like we said, we're at that point where it just doesn't matter. So, we'll just get rid of one of them. No attack. We're kind of, I mean, we're at the point where, depending on what they do, like, they can attack with that, and I will... on target creature and opponent controls. Okay, so I can block you and you, but it still takes me to 7. Yeah, it doesn't matter. So, but we can still kill some stuff. And there's another flaw. If your opponent has a lot of creatures and you don't get a whole lot of removal to get rid of them, then yeah, they have enough things to block, so that becomes a bit of a problem. Yes, I am trying to find ways of poking holes in this deck, because to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. I like poison decks, but I also don't like them, because sometimes they can be a little too easy. Like, if you get an absolutely perfect hand, there's almost nothing your opponent can do, which I don't always like that. But it is what it is. I've kind of shown already, like, what this deck is capable of. At least that's the way I see it. This has an opportunity. And Bloomkin is good. I think I'm going to go ahead and just discard, get rid of one of you. Probably should have kept that one, but it's fine. Okay, I could really use another land here. No, that's not helpful. That's really not helpful, but thank you. You need a crew of 3, pay 3 life, get rid of that. Yes, that'll buff up. Yeah, buffs both of them. Jeez, of course. Like I said. Jeez. I'm guessing they know what deck I'm running. Nope. But see, now I can kind of just tap them with Gingerbrute. Oh, that does have haste, so that could block Gingerbrute, which is a little unfortunate. It now has reach. Okay, this is gonna hurt. And we'll block you. That's 6. Okay. This is really gonna hurt. Whew. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's right. Yeah, Cecil, I really hate Cecil. I hate this card. The reason it's in the deck is because, J Villain had it in the deck, but I absolutely hate this card. It's to me because it's almost always a detriment to me. Whenever it deals damage, it does not deal damage to your opponent, it just deals damage. You lose that much life. So I hate that card. I feel like there are so many options you could probably. I'm gonna look actually. And that's what we're gonna do right now, actually, because we are done for the match. We are done with matches for today. We are at almost 16 minutes, but I want to see why is there white in here. Cecil, let's see, one drop creature. Let's go with not collected, and Death Touch. So yeah, we have a lot of options. And Cecil's a legendary even, so if we wanted to switch it out, we could do Tiny Bones, or we could do Engine Rat, Death Touch. Each opponent loses 2 life. That's not that big a deal, but there are other options that we can do. So, but yeah, I'm not gonna change it right now. Actually, what about Tonberry? No, stun counter. Yeah, you don't want that. But Engine Rat would be fine, or Tiny Bones if you wanted to keep the legendary. That one could actually be kind of interesting. Another mechanic you can play with. But yeah, so personally, I don't like Cecil. We're going to keep it in the deck for now, but there are a couple of other options that you can run with, mainly just these two, Engine Rat or Tiny Bones. So, your choice. But yeah, that is going to do it for the matches. Let's get to this pack. Oh yeah, right. When I started recording this, they released the Alchemy set for Age of Eternity. I decided to keep the 3 packs that you get to open up for you guys. So let's get to that. Nothing in here is really going to be overly important to me because I don't play Alchemy. I just don't like it. So, but we do get other cards from the original set. Plus, Mechanist Dismissal and Val Marooned Survivor. Okay. Axavar, Fate Thief. Okay. I mean, some of these cards are probably really interesting, but again, I don't play Alchemy, so. Got a Mythic this time. 2 cards, Thought Partition and Eumidian? Yeah, Eumidian Life Seed, perhaps? Oh, that's a spellbook card. That's interesting. And then Prototype X-8 Robot Octopus. That's interesting. Like I said, these are all pretty interesting. Though I'd have to see if I don't know if alchemy specific cards like this can be played in standard. I don't think so. I could be wrong though. I don't know. But yeah, we'll take that, I guess. Another rare. Alright. Another copy of Life Seed. Squadron Carrier. That's the thing on the pack, which that's kind of cool. And Gravatic Herald. Gravitic. I mean, I think it's like Gravity and Heretic mixed together, so Gravitic Herald. Alright. And with that, we're going to wrap things up. So, if you happen to enjoy this episode, which I do sincerely hope you did, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button down below. And if you do happen to be new to the channel, hello, welcome, and please do consider subscribing. And to stay up to date for whenever new content is released, don't forget to hit that bell icon after you subscribe. But other than that, thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you all next time.